at these beauties. Yes, you too can resole your shoes with plain old bike tires. I know it doesn't seem possible because they're so curvy, or maybe you're just lazy, but this is actually a pretty easy method for doing it. You're going to first need a shoe. Then you're going to need a sanding tool, scissors, some bike tire, a spatula, some E600 glue, a couple of clamps, and 2 pieces of wood. It's essential that you get a rough surface for gluing the bike tread onto the sole of the shoe. So first, you're going to sand the bottom of the shoe to make it a little rougher. Alright, so as you can see, I've roughened up the surface of the bottom of the shoe quite a bit with the sander. So now we're ready to cut the tire and start gluing it to the bottom. You're going to want to start at the very top of the shoe, and even though the shoes I showed you at the very beginning of this video had vertically soled bottoms, I think the best method, and the method I'll be doing from now on, is to horizontally sole them, because gluing the side pieces after you've glued the middle piece when you do it vertically is just way too time consuming. So this is the new method for me, and the one that I recommend. So what you're going to want to do is measure out a piece for the tip of the shoe, starting with the tip of the shoe, and then cut it. As you can see, we have a piece of bike tire, and we have the sides, which are a little bit uneven and lacking tread. So we're going to want to cut as much into the tread as possible, so like to the very edge. Now we have a piece of bike tire that is ready to be glued to the bottom of the shoe. But first, we have to sand the inside so that the little hairs show. I'll give you an example of this. So now you can see it's a lot of little hairs, and it's a lot rougher, so there's a lot more traction for the glue to seep into those little crevices and give you a tight hold, which is what you want. You don't want them falling off. So if you don't do this, they will fall off within a matter of minutes. You can peel them off. Without doing this, they will peel off. With doing this, it's going to be almost impossible to peel them off. And now we have reached the gluing part. And we're going to take the glue, and we're going to take our spatula, set the spatula aside, open the glue. Apply a decent layer. Actually, I don't know whether I should apply this to the bottom of the shoe. I don't know. I'm just going to apply it to the bike tire, but you can apply it to the bottom of the shoe if you think that's the right thing to do. It does save glue to do that. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to just apply it to the bottom of the bike tire. And so there's that. And so let's see here. Just spread it with the spatula. And make sure you get a nice little decent layer on there. You might need more glue. In this case, we're going to need more glue. You want a thick enough layer so that when you press it with the clamps, a little bit seeps out. You don't want it to be too thin. Just spread it on there. You get a nice little thick layer going on. There you go. Thick little layer. Now be sure you dust off the sole of the shoe before applying the bike tread. That's what you're going to do next. So you get it on there, kind of hold it on there. It's nice and thick. And I really probably should have just put the glue on the bottom of the shoe, but I didn't. Anyway, so now we're going to put it between the clamps. Actually, we're going to put like this, I think. That's better. And like that. See, it's kind of a little cumbersome, but you're going to affix the clamp. Tighten the clamp. It dawned on me while doing this that using a thinner piece on top would be wiser. So that's what I did. You tighten the clamp to the point where it is really tight on there. Be real nice and tight. See some of that glue seeping out like I told you. So make sure it's nice and tight and then lay it in the sun or a dry place for about a half hour. Okay, so it's been about a half hour. Now I'm going to take it out of the clamp vise. So as you can see, we now have the shoe freed from the clamp vise, and there's like a lot of extra around. So I'm going to take the scissors, go ahead and trim that extra as close to the bottom of the shoe as you can. So you can see we trim that, and this is an old shoe I'm doing this on because I don't care about these shoes, so I really don't care about them looking like crap, but I would again advise if you do this on your own, apply the glue to the bottom of the shoe, not to the tire tread, because a lot of it's going to end up on the side of the shoe. Anyway, now as you can see, we have one part of our sole glued, and it's on there very nice and tight, as you can see. E600 has a cure time of about I would say 72 hours, but it's good to go after about 24. You're going to have a bit of roughage around the edge, which is why you're going to want to take your tool. Sort of do a rough buff around. So you're going to want to repeat all these steps until you have the entire shoe covered. I don't know what you would do with this sole. Probably the same thing. And just sand it down and apply the tire. And voila, you've got yourself a pair of bike tire soles. And that's just wonderful. So one thing to mention before I finish this video here is that when you cut into a bike tire, there's a piece of metal, a ring, so you have to make an incision on the inside and then cut around. But other than that, you'll have yourself a great pair of bike tire soled shoes, and these have held up really nicely over the last few days. I just did these a few days ago. So you can see I did them vertically, so there's like little strips missing, and I didn't even bother putting them in because it's too high for this part to really get affected, and also it's just too much of a pain in the ass. So that's why I do recommend doing it horizontally if you do decide to take this project on. Have a great day. Bye.